Welcome to my version of First Things First, Nick Wright's quarterback mound, the most accurate, the most unbiased, grounded quarterback rankings in the entire world. It's amazing. Thank you so much for the honor. I am so grateful and really, really appreciate it. Now, my rankings are completely different than the way how Nick does it, as it is not a rich tapestry. I do it based on the previous week of what did we just see, nothing else. The problem is we didn't just watch football this past weekend, unfortunately. We got like what, 7, 8 months, and so Nick did his mountain going into 2026, and so I figured I wanted to do my own spin on that, and I was trying to figure out different ways to do it, and I think I landed on a good way. I was on the fence between two different ways, but I realized I can kind of combine them in a way which it'll make sense as we go through it. But the way how I did it this time around is it's the quarterbacks that I'm the most excited to watch, not the quarterbacks that I think are going to be the best. That's kind of generic. That's kind of boring. Everybody over these next couple of months are going to start to release their quarterback rankings and all of that. And I'm going to discuss all of them. It's what we did all last offseason as well. This is like a little bit different of a spin. This is who am I most excited to watch because I think they're going to be exciting to watch for various reasons. And so that's kind of the approach that I did it because I just think it's a different, more interesting way to go about it. So without further ado, let's jump right into it at the bottom. Now, to be very clear, I got Patrick Mahomes at the bottom because I don't know when he's playing. I don't know if he's week one. I'm definitely excited to see him come back. He was the hardest one, honestly, out of everyone because I don't know if he's playing week one and all of that. I'm hopeful he's back in action in full strength right off the jump. And so, but, I don't know if there's anything else for him to really show us in this moment of time. So I'm just kind of just going to wait and see. Aaron Rodgers, I know what I'm getting there. Baker Mayfield as well. Jordan Love. I mean, I think there was some question marks around TJ Strat. I just read that like he could be a trade target potentially. Like, I don't know, pretty interesting. I just think like the Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, again, there's nothing wrong with any of these players to be very clear. It's not that I'm not excited to watch them. It's just to me, I don't think we're going to be seeing anything new out of any of these quarterbacks. I'm hopeful we do for some of them, especially like CJ Straw, Jordan Love. Again, I want to see Patrick Mahomes rewind the clock and look like it's 2018 and prove that he can, bounce back from a pretty bad injury and all of that. Like, again, like none of this are like set in stone predictions of what I'm expecting to see or what I'm hoping to see. Like it's really nothing to do with that. So I mean, in a lot of ways, nobody could actually get mad at me for how these are ranked because it's just kind of like going into the season. Again, as you'll see when I go through the quarterbacks, it's just like the quarterbacks where I'm just like, I'm excited to see this show. I'm excited to see this new episode of this show or the new season of this show. Like, that's really what it comes down to, right? It's like, oh, great, season 3, the season premiere. I'm really excited to see what that looks like. That's kind of, the general foundation of how I'm looking at it, right now. And so, yeah. And now it's funny because I was trying to see how I wanted to put them, but like Drake May is arguably the one quarterback that I think doesn't fit in here, but I'll explain why he is. I really think like we've seen these quarterbacks, like all of these quarterbacks in this row minus likely Drake May, which again I'll get to at the very end. We've seen I believe really as great as they'll ever be. And they always will have the potential to have a box score where we're like, what? Like, wait, what? Like Lamar Jackson threw the ball only 12 times, but he had like 230 yards and he rushed for 80 and he had 5 touchdowns and a perfect passer rate, whatever it is. Like, and same thing, Jared Goff has some of the wildest box scores, like honestly, like in the history of the NFL. Like the dude also will have some of these like pretty ridiculous things. But again, it's a little bit happening a little bit less now that Ben Johnson, of course, is not there. I'm as mega high on Sam Darnold as I am on Sam. I don't think we're now suddenly going to see this like brand new version of Sam moving forward. I think Sam is going to continue to be who he's been. I don't think you're just going to tune in and just be like, guys, Sam Darnold is officially the best quarterback in the NFL. I think he's always going to be in the mix with these other top 5, top 10 quarterbacks, doing some awesome things, making some beautiful throws, doing some head-scratching moments, and can clearly win a Super Bowl and be great and be a top quarterback in the NFL. But I don't think there's anything where you're just kind of like, is he an all-time great? Is he, I mean, like, and again, maybe some of these things I would absolutely love to be proven wrong without a shadow of a do. Joe Burrow is also really tricky, honestly, because I'm excited to see Joe Burrow, but at this, because I think he's great. I think he's special. I think he is an all-time talent, but like he can stay healthy. And I'm unsure what is different with the Cincinnati Bengals this year. Where is there going to be any type of difference? And that's the thing with Lamar. Lamar is wildly exciting, but I've seen what he's done a million times at this point. And I'm not so sure that there's going to be this next step. And again, as I get to the other quarterbacks, some of my explanations I think will make more sense as it goes on. And again, Matthew Stafford, it's hard for me to imagine that he puts up an equal season as he did last season. I still think it'll be great. I still think it'll be awesome. I wonder if we'll be able to stay healthy again for an entire full season at this point, with his health, with his age and whatnot. Again, Matthew Stafford, wildly exciting quarterback to play or to watch, but I think it'll feel a little bit more status quo. I think last season was very much, proving a point here and getting that MVP, and I just think I think it'll be a little bit of a step back into boring, which then that's what leads me to Drake May. I think Drake May, because it's interesting to me because I do think Drake May will continue to get better. I just wouldn't be surprised if we see a more boring version of Drake May this season. I could see the Patriots being better, and I could see the Patriots winning more and being more successful and whatnot, but I just wouldn't be surprised if Drake May just kind of slips into... I'm trying to think of like what, maybe like a good example of a quarterback, like almost maybe like a Jared Goff type season. Again, they're different quarterbacks and they go about it differently, but just a quarterback who's obviously really successful, obviously winning a lot of games. And I'm trying to think maybe like Jared Goff in like 23 or 20, probably like Jared Goff, maybe like 2024. Jared Goff, almost maybe even like a Sam Darnold in 2024. I'm trying to think of other kind of good examples of it, but I don't know if you're going to be as locked in and tuned into some of the magic moments of Drake May. I just wouldn't be surprised if it gets his game gets a little bit more boring, which again is not a negative thing by any sort of imagination. I'm fearful that people are going to slightly misunderstand what I mean by some of the things that I'm saying here. So, I don't know. We'll explain it more in the comment section, I guess. And then now we got the next row. Jaden Daniels, I'm optimistic. I don't have the strongest feeling about what the Washington Commanders are doing. In fact, I don't feel great about how the Washington Commanders are managing this. I am a huge believer in Jaden, and if the Commanders made, and again, all this is obviously subject to will. This will change probably dramatically for all these quarterbacks based off of the draft and free agency. But with Jaden Daniels, I believe that he can be a bona fide top 3 quarterback in the NFL. I think he's awesome. I think he's electric. I think he's exciting. It's unclear to me in this moment of time, do the Washington Commanders put him in a position for that to take place? Also, with all of his injuries, how does his game now look? How does his game evolve? Which is what makes me interested to see him, what he's going to look like. And then Mendoza, again, I'm super excited for Mendoza, but it's unclear to me if in year 1, right off the bat, he's going to be this super exciting, successful player. He's going to, be in a position to have this awesome year 1. Again, there's so many moving parts right now with the Raiders and a lot of question marks. First off, I just heard that Mendoza, apparently, it's been reported the New York Jets are willing to go all in for Mendoza and trade everyone, and they got 5 first-round picks right now. Theirs. I think they are flushed with draft capital, and it's so I is even going to go to the Raiders. I don't know. And Cam Ward and Dable and Sala and what they got going there again. Really excited. He's coming back from an injury. And do the Titans have a roster in place for them right now? Like, again, the problem with doing a mountain like this right now is that there's so many question marks about how the coaching situations work for some of these guys. Some of them that you'll see, like, where are they even playing? I don't even know where they are even playing right now. I left Kyler Murray off because I'm like, one, I just ran out of space, and two, I'm like, I don't know if he's playing. Is he wearing for what team? Like, I got no idea. Same thing with Tua. Tua is not on this mountain either, because it's like I don't know where if these guys are playing or not. So it's just, you kind of just have to go with it. Bryce Young, I think what he did in the playoffs was so wildly impressive to me. What Bryce Young did in the playoffs is easily one of the most under-discussed topics or, moments in the entire season of 2025. Without a doubt, that did not get discussed enough. A quarterback that everybody was just like, I don't know, I think he's kind of done. I think it's over, blah, blah, blah. He played awesome, absolutely positively awesome, and made huge plays in huge moments. And if anything, his team left him out to dry a couple times. He was big time. Absolutely big time. This was a previous #1 overall pick that has essentially been forgotten. It seems like his career is kind of hanging on by a thread. And his first ever playoff game against Los Angeles Rams, quite frankly, should have beaten them and bought out and played awesome. And it was barely discussed at all. And it was barely even mentioned as like, wow, this is a great, I mean, considering we talk about all these quarterbacks failing in the playoffs, whether it be Justin Herbert or Lamar Jackson or, Sam Darnold last year and whatnot, all these questions about so many of these quarterbacks. CJ Stroud, can Dak Prescott handle the moment? All of these types of things. Bryce Young absolutely rises to the occasion, balls out, and is barely discussed. And I'm just fascinated to see, like, has he turned a corner? Is there momentum building around Bryce Young? I really enjoyed what I saw out of Carolina. It's just some of these teams, it's a little bit harder for me to know, is there momentum building there, because I'm less confident in the coaching staff of some of these teams in the roster. So it's just harder for me to draw conclusions, especially this far out, with any sense of confidence. And Trevor Lawrence, one that I am confident about. I do think him and Liam Cohen are going to continue to grow and evolve. I am really excited about that. I'm on the fence of if we just kind of continue to see what we saw in year one with Liam Cohen, or if there's actually like a true next gear, right? Is there this next season where essentially kind of is having a season like we saw out of Stafford? I mean, like he was this past season. Like, do we see kind of some cartoonish stuff where we're like, man, this guy's got 4,800 yards and 45 touchdowns right now? Like, I wouldn't be surprised, but sometimes those types of box score, those types of overall season stats, a lot of it is dependent on, like, are you blowing out teams? And when you do blow out a team, are you able to kind of throw the ball and let it rip, or are you just handing the ball off, handing the ball off, handing the ball? It's just like kind of like, how is the flow of the game unfolding? And what are you involved in some shootouts where you got to keep letting it ripped? Like, so I do think that's a little bit harder to kind of predict, but I do think that it's on the table that Trevor Lawrence is, in the MVP race. The Jags are a top team in the NFL. Again, I could see it being like what we saw kind of out of Stafford is, maybe not the numbers as, extreme, so to speak, because, yeah, I have thoughts that I think overall this next coming season, we're potentially going to see a lot less of these like big throws and these big box scores of people throwing 40 plus times a game, and, having all of these guys floating around 4,500, 5,000 yards and 40 plus touchdowns. Like, does seem like everyone's trying to have a significantly more emphasis on like O-line and running the ball and defense. And so for some of these quarterbacks that got big arms and stuff, like, I'm not sure how you handle that in what feels like we're kind of transitioning into this next iteration of whatever the heck the NFL is about to be. Now we got these 4 quarterbacks. They're all here for completely different reasons, but also similar reasons as well. Boone Nix coming back from his injury again. Boone Nix played absolutely awesome in the playoffs. Really exciting. and it was a bit of an inconsistent season. And it seems to me that the Broncos are looking to do things offensively. They obviously moved on from their OC, which is, obviously Sean Payton is the main offensive mind. But I do get the sense that they want to be aggressive. They want to take this next step forward. They want to feel like their offense is legitimately high-hour. And it's going to be year 3 with Bo Nix, to my knowledge, his injury. He should cover kind of quickly and pretty much not miss any type of any of the stuff, when it's time for him to start to do like actual football related stuff. To my knowledge, to my experience, it feels to me that shouldn't be disrupted at all. So it's not like I'm like, well, he's going to have a little bit slower of an off season because of recovery. I like Mahomes. That's more on the table for Mahomes because of the injury that he has. I don't think that's going to be the case with Bo Nix. And so again, year 3 Bo Nix, excited to see what that looks like.